Conversations for Peace. I am glad you are here. I am Pastor Jule, and I am here today with Dr. Sonja Rosse and Mr. Vincent Rosse. They're related. So, welcome, and it's good to see you both.
Thank you, Pastor Jule. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Happy to be here.
Well, I like to begin our Conversations for Peace introducing you a little bit, and then you're going to dive in and tell us more about yourself.
Okay.
So I'm going to start with Dr. Rosse, who I first met in this couplet. I met you just a few months ago, really, and we talked on the phone the first time. We talked for quite a long time on the phone. I did not know you were at work at the time, so I'm sorry that I'm sure it was a lunch break.
Yes, I get a lunch break at different times of the day. Sometimes it's 5 minutes, sometimes it's 10, sometimes it's 2, but I'll take it. I had a little bit longer that day we talked.
A little bit longer. And I felt like we just hit it off. You had been recommended to us by Noelle Bradley, who has been a vocalist here for our worship experience. I love Noelle. I'm so excited for the new baby because I actually married Noelle and Fred in our sanctuary.
She told us. It's a joy. Yeah. Yes, she is the first time mommy, so she is going to be busy.
Yes, and you know about that.
Yes.
And so I know when you came the first Sunday, Dr. Rosse plays for us for worship. It's one of her many talents and skills. She'll tell you more about all of her talents and skills in a little bit. And we just kind of hit it off and started talking and kept connecting about all sorts of different things. A little bit about your day, what it's like to be a vice principal at a school here in Nashville. And then you started talking about, you told me this when we talked on the phone, that for about 4 years you've been racing back and forth to Atlanta area.
Yes.
And we're a minister of music there because there's some man back there that you were very committed to.
This is the man here. I love him so dearly. But yes, we do have 2 different homes, Nashville and in Snellville, Georgia, and we are constantly back and forth. And it's working for us. I know it's hard for some people, but thank God it is working for us. Honey, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's a blessing. God is definitely in the center of our joy. We cannot make it without God. I mean, that is all seriousness. And for those of you who aspire to be married and want to have a continued marriage with love, keep God first. Even when the challenges come, even when the setbacks arise or you feel like giving up, God does not give up on you.
Oh, that's beautiful. How long have you all been married?
6 years.
Just made our
6 years.
Yes.
6 years.
You gotta make it beyond that 7-year itch.
Okay,
right?
it's
We're gonna make it.
You'll get there.
And the only reason we don't have our rings on today is because they're in the shop. Every year we put them in the shop and make sure they are serviced.
Oh, wow, that's cool. I never heard that. So the wedding rings that doesn't mean you're available today. It just means they're working on
They're at Zales in the shop. We're waiting for them to return.
Great little tip.
She is off the market, fellas. You don't see a ring, I'm off the market.
Right?
Yeah, but she's off the market.
I'm off the market too. I'm married to God. So it's
Amen.
Love it.
Yes.
Well, and so my meeting of Vincent today, I just met him today, coming in, sitting at the piano next to his beautiful bride, and this glorious voices singing together. So if you check out our YouTube of worship today, we're recording on June 30th, but it was such a treat to have them both in worship and singing together today. But impressive bio all about you and all of your accomplishments. So why don't you all get in and just tell us who you are and what you're about and how you spend your days.
Okay. I am
take it over.
Sonja Rosse, and I am the assistant principal at Meigs Academic Magnet School. I've been there, I think this is my 7th or 8th year. I've been working in Metro Nashville Public Schools for 25 years, and I enjoy what I do every day. I'm excited to go to work. I feel like I am making a difference in the lives of students. I have wonderful relationships with my teachers. and parents, and we all work together as a team. I have also been playing the piano. I started taking piano lessons when I was 7 years old.
Oh, wow.
So I've been playing for churches since middle school. And now I've decided to pull back a little bit. I don't play every Sunday, but I play at least maybe twice a month because I want to continue to let the Lord use me. He gave me this talent, and I do not want to ever do anything to disappoint him. I'm so thankful for the talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you play beautifully.
Thank you.
Everybody's always like, when is she coming back? She'll be back. She'll be back.
Yes.
She may not be here every week, but there's just a passion in your music, and there you can see that conviction and commitment just coming through, and then amazing skill. And I don't know if they're flourishes or what exactly it is, but like just all the little things you add, it's just wonderful. So the hymns don't sound just like hymns.
Right.
You know, they sound uplifting, and that's what we love in our music.
And thank you, Pastor Jule, for allowing me to have this opportunity, because I felt very welcome when I first walked in the door. And I can't say that I've always felt that way. And I played for, several different churches, but I felt welcome, and I still feel welcome.
Well, good.
So I enjoy coming here just as much as I enjoy going to work,
Oh,
working
good.
with the
Good,
students.
good.
So, yes.
Yeah, good. Well, tell us what you do back in Georgia. You hold down the fort in Georgia.
Hold the fort down in Georgia. I am this is year 34, 35 as a band director, a music educator. It comes from my parents. My grandfather was the music director for the Boy Scouts of America.
Oh, wow.
And
Cool.
he played several instruments. When I was a little child, I was like, what are you doing, Granddad? I mean, one day it's trumpet, the next day it's drum, clarinet, bass drum. He's fixing cars, building houses, a jack of all trades.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah.
that's what I saw. And my mother was the pianist at my church, Franchise Missionary Baptist Church, for 64 years on the piano.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I got it pretty honest. So I received a full scholarship to University of Southern Mississippi to study music education. And so here I am now, still teaching band. I taught college, high school, and middle and elementary. So it's been a true blessing to do what I do.
Yeah. And what school are you at again?
Right now I'm in the DeKalb County Schools. That's in Stone Mountain, Georgia, at Stephenson Middle School.
And that's like it's west of Atlanta area?
It's west of Atlanta, right near Stone. You can actually see Stone, the big mountains of Stone Mountain right outside of my school window.
Oh,
so
cool.
We're that close to that area.
I've studied it in Decatur, Georgia, so I know that area a little bit. I was with Columbia Theological Seminary for a little bit.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Yeah, so I'm familiar. I'm like, where are you? Like, what side of town?
And when you said Decatur, I thought about one of my favorite gluten-free bakeries near that area.
Yes,
So,
yes.
Decatur
is a
Bakery.
fun area,
Yes.
Decatur, Georgia. Yeah,
Very quaint
it really
town.
is.
Very quaint.
Yeah, cool. All right, awesome. So, tell me a little bit about what are you most passionate about? Let's go like more personal, and then we'll get more into your work. How's that sound? What are you most passionate about that you just really love to do, and how to spend your time? It's not just potty training a little grandbaby.
Right, yes. I was passionate about the potty training that we did, but it was a lot of work, and definitely a lot of celebrations, because if he did the number 1, he got 1 M&M, and then if he did the 2, he got 2 M&Ms, and then we changed that to fruit snacks and popcorn because the M&Ms were all over the way. But just the whole celebration to see, he couldn't go to the potty at all, but then just the transition. So we did a lot with that. Honey, what was your success with the potty training?
Well, I got to clean the diapers in the potty all the time. So Granddaddy was proud of that. Pawpaw is what he gave me. It's the name he calls me. I just like to see the baby grow and change, and we saw change in the child.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It is really great.
It takes a lot to get a child to grow up, right?
It takes a lot. Every morning when it was time to get up, he had to go and sit on the pot and got the bananas cut up. So, yeah, it took a lot of time from us, but
it was a great sacrifice, because normally in the month of June, I teach music camps and on director staffs across the country, and I set all that aside for my family, for my grandbaby.
Wow.
So.
And how much money did you turn down?
Quite a bit.
Like $4,000.
Quite a bit.
You'll get through. You'll get
Yes.
through.
I
Right?
will.
Yeah.
I will. It was worth it.
And this is the only grandbaby, right?
No, we have several,
Okay.
but they're in different states, and we haven't been responsible for potty training them. I think we're done with the potty training. Yeah, we've
So
been.
now-
Done that.
Yeah, we've done
Enough
that.
of that.
Yes, we don't want to do that again. But I think the question you asked about the greatest joy, I enjoy giving and doing for others, whether it's someone who has been in the hospital, who's getting out of the hospital, or just need an uplifting word, whether it's a student who has just lost a grandparent, or they're just not having a good day, or my teachers just need a hug because they're sad. I'm always trying to make sure everyone else is okay, and I celebrate. I like to celebrate the little things. If it's one of my students who have received a certain number of referrals first semester, but he improved second semester, I send notes home.
That's awesome.
I call home. I go in the cafeteria and tell everybody, so-and-so, I'm so excited they have improved. I like to make sure everyone know about the success of others. And then I've learned, mental health is important to find time for myself. So what I've learned, and it took me a long time, I've had Metro Nashville Public Schools email on my phone for 23 years.
Oh, wow.
And I was checking if a teacher say they need something fixed. I'm putting in work orders on Saturday, Sunday after church, whatever the case may be. I have this past school year, I took the email off my phone.
That's good.
And I do not regret it. That has given me a peace of mind. And everybody don't have to do that. Some people, I guess they are disciplined where they just say, well, I'm not going to check it. Well, that didn't work for me. I was checking everything. I was responding to my parents at 8 o'clock, calling them at 6 o'clock in the morning when I'm leaving the gym. As I tell my husband sometimes, I say, honey, you're doing too much. I was doing too much. But
we call that projection.
But I now, to focus on my mental health, I had to pull away from that. So when I go to the gym, that's my time to listen to the music and relax. When I go home from work, it's not time for me to be communicating with staff about what's going on. If it's not life or death, I can deal with it on the next day. So I am taking that. I've been in Metro for a while, but I am taking that really serious, like it's a time for me.
Right.
I would say this past school, this is the only summer that I have not been up to the school like trying to do some work. I'm off. I'm an 11-month employee, so I need to enjoy that. So I just have had to learn the hard way that I love pouring in to people, but my bucket has been empty. So I need to start pouring in to myself and taking that time for me. And I take it.
Pausing for peace.
Oh, I'm pausing
That's right.
for peace. Yes,
That's right.
because I was not.
Yeah.
So now I'm pausing.
Yeah.
I'm taking that time. I've been playing the piano every Saturday, playing the piano every Sunday. I no longer do that anymore because I had to take time. I had a quiet day, just to meditate with the Lord and not do anything. Nothing with the sorority. I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority
There you go.
Incorporated.
Shout out to them. Yeah.
Shout out to my lovely sorors, but I have to take time for me so that I can be the best version of myself.
Giving yourself away. Every
Yes,
day.
yes.
So what have you noticed, or what have others noticed? Are they noticing the change? And
Honey, I don't
I
know.
have.
Do you notice?
Yeah.
I have a happier bride. I have
Yeah.
a happier mate, a soulmate, my best friend, my love right here. She's who I married. She was surrounded by the world, and we both are. We're both in. She's in education in that sector. I'm in the entertainment side of it, and both of us are pulled in so many directions. And so, but now when this summer we decided to be intentional about each other, intentional about family, We were always putting others first because we have such big hearts. We love to give, not expecting anything in return. It's just how we were raised. But now we need to be more intentional about loving and supporting each other. And it's been going pretty well.
Good. It's awesome to know. Which is why we're glad you're here today.
Yes.
Definitely. One weekend you can actually be together, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
And we've been to the beach.
Yeah, we're on beach tours.
Yes, we went to St. Pete, and that was a lot of quality time.
St. Pete. Some of our listeners are in St. Pete.
All right,
Oh,
St. Pete. Got on the banana boat.
Oh my gosh.
My husband was not ready for the banana boat. He was all stressed
She
out.
almost drowned me.
But my eyes were closed, and I had a good time. We went to Destin, but we took our grandson,
That was beautiful.
and we were really loud in the hotel. My mom came and added to the loudness, great grandma. And then we are on our way to Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach.
Yes, Wednesday.
Okay.
Yes, so we have never taken 3 trips.
I think it's actually 4. Panama City was before that.
Oh,
so,
Panama
We
City.
love the beach.
Okay.
obviously.
Yes, we love the
Good therapy.
beach because
It's
I
good
have bad allergies here
Okay.
in Nashville.
Oh, it's awful.
Allergy shots, asthma shots, so definitely, and I'm from Mobile, Alabama.
Okay.
So going closer to the water, that is really healing
Definitely.
for me,
Definitely.
mentally and physically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm from Columbus, Georgia.
Okay.
Right over the river from Phoenix City. I was born in Columbus, Georgia, but we were raised in Phoenix City, Alabama. It's like a stone's throw, like you just cross the river. And so that's home for me there.
Yeah. So I'm from the Midwest. So I'm from Wisconsin and grew up on Lake Michigan. And I'm all about the beach as well. And you're like, a lake is not a beach. But it really is. It's like, you know, when I first came to Nashville and friends wanted to take me to the lake, Old Hickory Lake, we got there and got on their boat and I was like, where's the lake?
Right.
This is it. Like, I can see the other side. This is not a lake. Like when you grew up on a great lake.
Yes,
But,
that is a great lake.
so I would love to, I know you may not want to go here, but like tell me what it was like growing up in the South. Because I'm from the Midwest and I will say it was very different when I came
Absolutely.
to Nashville.
Well, for me, I was able to go to the beach, I would say at least once a month. We were at the beach because Pensacola, Florida is only about 45 minutes away and Biloxi is 45 minutes away. So we stayed at the beach. And then I was involved in all sports. I played volleyball, basketball, track. You too? Okay, we're going to talk about that.
What did you do in track?
And on the dance team, I did the relay, 4x4, and then I did the 200, where it's halfway around. I did that relay. So it's just crazy here out in Nashville. I can't really go outside and stay long, but I did all of these things. Ran in the rain, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
So
We're adults now.
yes, in the South, and definitely did a lot of family things. I'm an only child. My mom's only child, and then my dad has 2 children, myself and my sister Jasmine. But my mom, it's 9 of them. She has 9 siblings. So growing up, our house was the house everybody pretty much came to if they didn't go to my grandmother's house. So we may have had 30 or 40 people there, my mom's siblings, their children, and then my mom pretty much did all the cooking. She did not believe in potluck. So nobody was able to bring any potluck. She did all the cooking, then she'll say she's tired. And I'm like, well, Mama, you volunteered to do all the turkeys, all the hams, all the cake, all the pies. But she was tired, and she did it. So yeah, we ate a lot of good cooking.
A lot of good food.
A lot of good food. And then our first house that we stayed in, and my mom still have it, I had a swimming pool. And my cousins used to come over and get in the swimming pool. So it's just a joy. And I still go back home, Mobile, Alabama, to visit my mom. Yes.
Cool. I bet it's hot there right now.
Yes.
How about
But, well, for me, as I stated earlier, it's about family traditions, family values. That's what, to me, that's what Southern tradition is about, living in the South. If I have, you have. You're a neighbor, you need, I have your need, and vice versa. We looked out for each other. I have, my mom and dad had 6, we had 6 of us, 3 girls, 3 boys. So we all were raised together. If I had $1, you had to divide that up 6 ways.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And treat you how to share sharing, because I wasn't an only child.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't know anything
She doesn't
about.
get that. It's like,
I
what
think
is
I'm
that?
Mr. 5, so
See,
I kinda
there you go.
get it.
There you
Y'all
go.
get it?
Yeah.
I mean, like, nothing new. Like,
nothing
yeah.
new.
And I still say mine, like that's my popcorn or mine. My husband's like,
Well, yes, she does.
it's not yours, like it's
It's mine.
ours. I'm
It's
like,
mine.
no, it's.
So,
That
yeah.
is so fascinating because this sounds kind of weird, but I think of I think in we, like, you know, it's like, oh, we're doing that. Like,
Yes.
I mean, I'm a single person, I know that, but at the same time, there's that sense of like we and family, and so it's kind of interesting, like if you're not raised in a big family like that, if there's more of a sense of just like, I'm doing this and whatever.
Yes.
And I
It's my
still
popcorn.
thought I was doing my own thing, and then I would always get in trouble when my cousins came over because I needed to share. So
And
it
you
was
don't
always
have to share when you're an only child.
right, because I had my own bathroom
Oh,
growing up.
girl, I didn't even have my own bed growing up.
Yes,
But we had bunk beds though.
Yeah,
One bed. I mean, you had your own bed, but one room had 2 beds in it. So. Oh yeah.
and I'm still kind of offended when I go home to visit with my mom. I'm like, this is my room because my furniture is still there and my dresses, and she has computers set up and it's stuff on my bed and in my closet. She said, you have your own house. I'm like, but this is my room. Like, I am still, right, honey?
Yes,
She heard me telling my mom about my room.
And it's her house, and she lives there, but
Right.
yet it's your room. Yeah.
And my furniture is still there, and all her things are on my dresser, and her clothes are, and I'm like,
That's
it's just,
So it was a little different. Where
It's a little.
you're
That's what's different about us. That's one of the differences we share. So.
definitely.
and we have our own bathrooms.
You do have your own bathroom.
Yes.
You have your own house.
Right, but even at our own houses,
Yeah.
we have our own bathrooms.
Yeah. Okay.
And yes, we have to.
Yeah, she has a menagerie.
My own pillow.
and her
He
room.
has his own pillow.
Yes, who boy?
It's a lot, right?
Yeah. I
It's
love
okay.
it. You have your menagerie.
Yes, she does.
But she wears it well, right?
Yes, yes,
So
love
looks
it.
fabulous all the time.
And I'm a
so-
giving person. I will give,
But not my bathroom.
Melissa. Yeah, not my bathroom. No,
Get your stuff off my dress.
not my pillow, because I have a special pillow for my neck.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. That's cool. What's it like being a part of such a big family? Six of you?
Mm-hmm.
Siblings all together?
Yeah, there were 6 of us. It was beautiful. It could be tough at times, but we never knew. Mom and Dad worked hard workers, just good old hard working Americans. We never knew that there was a struggle, because they never treated us that way. We were blessed with good food, 3 meals a day, clothes, shoes, clean clothes, new clothes, fashionable things. We had no idea that poverty was supposed to be a part of our culture, because they didn't treat us that way. We attended the finest schools. We were raised in the church. We were disciplined and loved at the same time. In the church, in the community discipline.
So everybody kind of knew each other?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so it was a beautiful affair. So I'm very big on respecting parents and my elders. And my mom, Sonja knows, is very close to me, and she's close to her mom as well. So respecting the lady came easy to me, because I always respect and spoiled my mother and my sisters. So I saw respect. So when I met Sonja, it was natural for me to be respectful and teach her, show her things that I know. It wasn't pretense. It was just who I was and who I am today.
Yeah.
And so it's important the way you come up. Those seeds will plant, and they will flourish if they were prosperous. Now, if you have bad seeds, you will have bad fruit. And so we all had some. I'm not perfect. You're not talking to a perfect podcaster.
Me either.
No perfect podcaster over here, okay? There you go. There you go. But, however, we trust God, and we trust His guidance when we do falter. And it's been great. It's been absolutely wonderful.
Cool. Cool. And is your family still in?
Well, mom's here. She's 86 years old. She's bedridden right now.
Oh.
And but she's still here.
Uh-huh.
We lost Dad in 2017.
Okay.
And lost my second oldest sister some years ago. So
wow.
still 5 of us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you're so close with your mom.
Yes,
too.
and my mom is 74, and she is still here. She's driving. She's doing things that I don't do. She cuts the grass. She's painting. What else? Trying to find a cage for one of her houses to get a raccoon. So she put the honey bun in the cage and called a raccoon.
2 days ago. Yeah.
My mom is always doing some things. And years ago, I was playing for St. Vincent de Paul Catholic Church, whom I love very dearly. I was their music director for 17 years.
Wow.
Very faithful. They were just so loving to me.
Yes.
Yes. By Fisk. No, I met her at another church.
St. Vincent.
St. Vincent de Paul. Did I say St. Vincent, honey?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. St. Vincent.
By Fisk.
Yes, by
Yes,
Fisk University.
Exactly.
And I was playing there one Sunday, and because I had made a decision years ago that I was going to leave my phone in the car because I felt like if I brought it in church, it was a distraction. I kind of bring it in now and make sure it's off. But when I got to my car, I got a call that my dad had just committed suicide.
Oh.
So it took me, it's very hard. It took some time for me to deal with it. Counseling, prayer, meditations have helped through that. And that's why when my students come to me at school, or they may have a suicide plan, or their parents will say, well, this would happen on the weekend. My child is thinking about committing suicide. But Dr. Rosse, you don't understand. Oh, I understand.
Right.
Because I was with my dad on a Friday. He didn't look the same. He looked a little disoriented. But on a Sunday morning, he decided to take his life.
His life. Wow.
So, yeah.
That's hard. How many years ago was that?
That was back in, when I got my doctorate, 2014, 2015, yes. Yeah.
So that's not really that long ago.
Right.
Right? When, in that healing process. And we actually have had a survivors of suicide support group here at one point in time as a ministry, and so kind of learning about just how challenging that is. Such a complicated loss, right? It's such a complicated
Right, and I didn't see the signs. I knew kind of that my dad suffered with depression because of the job loss. He would, lose different jobs. His job, he was more like a contractor. So I know sometimes the job was for 2 years, it was going to be for a year, and when he done it, he got paid well. But I saw the depression, but I just didn't see the suicide
just
signs.
like what the
Like
impact of all
with
that
some of my
was.
students, I can tell they self-harm. So it may be on their legs, it may be on their arms, or maybe they have written a letter, but I had no signs
Right.
with my dad.
Yeah.
So,
And let me tell you, Pastor Jule, I've seen growth in my baby. Just to have this conversation couldn't have happened 5 years ago. You could say the word father, and there she goes. I mean, we couldn't talk about this at all. For her to do this, I'm really proud of you.
Yeah.
it's a God thing.
This is really big. I mean, we would have a conversation. One of her songs that I think she and her dad like is in Luther Vandross song, Dance with My Father Again. She walks out the room. She'll turn the radio.
I still don't want to hear that. I don't.
Okay.
Not ready for that.
You don't have to play that one.
Yeah, I don't hear that.
So, but yeah, I'm
That's
glad
a
to see the
process.
growth.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's
It's
been
a
10
process.
years, but it's a process. Like,
Yeah.
my parents both died 2 years ago, and like 5.5 months apart. Both of them were in my dreams last night, so that I'm still like processing, what was that all about? But they were both there. My mom actually spoke to me. Sometimes in my dreams they don't speak, they're just there. So that was kind of cool. But it's been 2 years, and it's a process. They had kind of natural aging
Right.
matters, if you will, but grief is like a spiral kind of thing. Like we might be okay for a while, and then it's like, oh, just one thing happens. And Father's Day, it's kind of hard to get through that. Mother's Day,
Yes.
very hard to get through, right? So, yeah.
My husband makes it better for me. Yes, and he recognizes the signs, or am I okay? It's like sometimes he's looking at me and I'm like, why are you looking at me? But he's just checking to see, am I okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's
I'm thankful.
Found a good one. Yeah.
Yes, I did.
How did you all?
Well,
Can you share that?
he found me.
You found.
Yeah,
Would you like to
that's
seek
what
her
she
out?
likes to say.
He found. You want to tell him all about it,
Want
honey?
to tell us your story?
How you
How
found
all
me?
fell in
For
love?
some
You
reason,
can tell us what you're passionate about after that. But
okay, well,
Okay.
for some reason, I was messing around on Facebook, the social media little thing, and I saw this picture of this young lady. It was like, and you look at the profiles, musician, music education, administrator, all the things that I like and the things that I do. Maybe I'll friend request her. She won't friend request me back. Well, she couldn't wait to friend. I'm sorry. I'm busy.
Right.
it was like an instant, right away.
It was an
instant
instant.
message.
I mean, so, but that's how we kind of met. We met online, and it's been beautiful ever since.
Yeah. So it's been long distance for the whole
whole
Just about,
time.
yeah.
Whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of Nashville?
I love it. I really do.
Curious.
I call it the baby Atlanta.
Baby Atlanta, that's cute.
But I mean, we understand that they're planning on making this much like a metropolis like Atlanta.
Yeah, this will be the Atlanta.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't let them do it. But it's
Yeah.
going to happen. The growth is incredible.
The growth is amazing.
It
in
is
the Nashville
amazing
area.
here, and it's a great. I love the culture here, the property, the land, the landscape, the trees. Don't see very much of that in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
But what is it that you don't like about it?
Well,
As far
the
as my
fact
allergy.
that it makes my wife sick with the allergies.
Yeah, it's the little bowl here.
That's what I've heard about this
The
bubble.
valley that we're in. Yeah. Yeah, it's not fun. So, and when did you come to Nashville?
In 1999, and I have been sick ever since I've been here.
Ever since you've been here?
Yes, yes. I remember the
Aw.
first principal that hired me. 2 weeks later, I was sick. She said, "I didn't know that you were sickly." I said, "I didn't either." And then a seasoned teacher said, "You need to go get tested. You probably have allergies." I said, "I don't have that,
Yeah.
and I'm allergic to everything.
And you said you have asthma.
I have asthma, the gluten allergy, peanut allergy, oat allergy, cats, dogs, dust, smoke, everything,
Pollens, all that.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
everything."
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I too did. I mean, I was just like in high school, I can just remember like hay fever kind of symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
But moved here, I have asthma as well. Never had that as an athlete. You know,
Yeah.
that's hard. And moved here, all the allergies, same thing. So yeah, it's a bowl. They'll just stay right here. Super fun. Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't have to get shots, right?
I do not get shots. I kind of lived through it. I've looked into that, and I may do that one of these days. But and my asthma is pretty much under control.
That's
good.
But, you know, so it's good. You don't want to lose your voice when we need our lungs when we're
Yes.
musicians and
Yes.
preachers,
Absolutely.
talkers.
Oh,
you
yes,
need your
yes,
voice.
we
So
do.
yeah. So what are you passionate about other than your wife?
Oh yeah. Okay. That was an easy one.
We didn't even get to that.
I was gonna
Yeah.
get to that. She gave my answer away.
Oh
Passionate about you, sugar.
yeah. Aw.
I feel that.
I hope so.
I know that.
It's the truth. Yeah.
Yes,
She
you
knows.
show it.
She knows.
Yes.
That's
But
awesome.
my passion beyond my bride is music education.
Mm-hmm.
Boy. Conducting. I'm a conductor and guest conductor around the country and making beautiful music, challenging the players, challenging the students in the classroom. I like teaching kids from scratch and just to watch their change, to watch their little eyes light up, the gestalt effect, the aha moment. Ha! Got it! I don't need you to help me anymore, Mr. Rosse. Let me do it. I'm like, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Or can we do this without you? We got it. Let us show you we can do it. That's that little paycheck. That's what it's for teachers. There it is right there. Yeah, when the kids get it, that makes me happy and makes me feel good. And so I've been doing a lot of that all my career and been playing my instruments for over 55 years now.
Oh, wow.
And, conducting and teaching private lessons was one of my great joys when we've had time. She used to teach like piano.
Okay.
And
Cool.
I taught,
When I had time.
Right, right.
and my schedule was allowing. I had students who were playing now in major symphonies, professional recording artists, and it's just a great feeling to watch that change. And that's one of the reasons I go to work every day. Just not about me. I've been doing this a couple of years, been blessed with a few little honors and awards, but it's the best honor and award comes from the kids when they learn, and the parents are appreciative. The community can see the difference, and that I try to make in a child.
Yeah, that's awesome. Education, especially here in Tennessee, you can tell us all about education in Tennessee,
Yes.
but there's always like these little threats to like we need to get rid of things like music or whatever. And the reality is like, but that's in a lot of ways, like, yes, all the subjects are important, but music, I think, really teaches you how to be a human being, like a contributing human being, right? Working with others and, blending your voices. So we learn harmony and acceptance. And what else do you see in the classroom? Well, and you too, as an educator, how important music is to just that overall creating a human being that we want in our nation, right?
Well, at our school, we are a social emotional learning school. So I see that the music helps with the social emotional learning. I've had students in my office who may have been sad or come in and not having a good day, but when they go to band, when they go to strings, and I happen just to walk in, just to check on them, see how they're doing, something happens to them, and it brightens their day up. It's like they need that instrument, like healing. That's what your message was about. Like they are healed, they're okay. Whether it's for that time being, it just soothes them.
Right.
It brings peace to the situation.
My kids tell me they can't wait to get the band. I walk the hall to speak. I can't wait. I got something to show you. I can play. Let me go. Can I go first? I'm like, you're in class. Oh, sorry.
You're supposed to be focusing on math right now.
I'm ready. And they just light up. They may have had a bad day. I'm serious. They could be crying in the cafeteria. But when they come to band, when they come to orchestra, chorus, it's something that we have. It's a special ministry. Music education has something different than other academia. And I don't know what it is, but I just strive on it and I just move forward with it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm from a very small town in Wisconsin, and it's surprising how, it's like everybody is all about
Oshkosh?
music. No, it's Oostburg.
Okay.
You're close.
There you go.
Oostburg. A lot smaller than that's like maybe, when I was growing up, there was like 1,800 people, so it's really small.
Where is that in relation to the University of Wisconsin?
Very far, about 3.5 hours away. So it's on Lake Michigan in Sheboygan County, and my ancestors, like a couple generations ago, they came from, both my grandfathers came from Holland, and so there was this wave of Hollanders who came into the United States late in the 1900s, or 19th century, I should say, and they found this little place where they wanted to stay among all these Germans. And so these there's two little Dutch enclaves. One that I'm from is Oostburg, and the one 5 minutes down the road is Cedar Grove. And it's like we're rivals, but we're all Dutch. It's so weird, we're all related, whatever. And but music was such a big part of our education. We had it from the time we were kids, and it wasn't a choice. You were in music, and up until high school, then you could choose if you were going to stay in band or choir. But until then, it was just one of the classes. And then church life was a big part of our life, and music was, one of the best bell choirs I've ever heard or been a part of, including here in Music City, was my hometown. So they just had these beautiful, I don't know, music was a big part of everything. It's a part of our home. And
in addition to what I do on that instrumental side, I'm also a deacon at my church, and I was minister of music for 30 years.
Oh,
so
wow, yeah.
So I love choir. I love the whole church purpose, particularly in music education, in the music area. But teaching choirs, performing, directing church is what I love.
Yeah.
Love it. It's what we do.
And I'm thankful for the times that I've played for choirs, and you have come and directed the choir, and you gave feedback to just help them be better.
Yeah.
Of course,
you really didn't know each other like 7 years ago? You didn't even know each other?
No idea.
That's amazing.
Did not know.
That's how she found me, so you all remember that.
Getting from Facebook.
Don't forget, we're in church, honey. We're in church.
I mean, whatever the real story is, we'll never know. But
no, but someone know. God knows.
They know.
Our friend requested her first.
Yes, he reached out.
That's
yes.
cool. That's cool. That's good. So what are the challenges to your work every day? Like, you've heard some of those celebrations already, but
So
day in, day out.
For this past school year, my main challenges have been students saying racial slurs to one another. Mostly it's been against the African American students. And I just want to be real at this time. A lot of the students have said to the African American students they look like monkeys, called them niggers, have told them they need to go back where they come from. We had one student who said that he wouldn't call me or the executive principal doctor, but he will call the other assistant principal, who's white, doctor. And then we've had some students make fun of one of my Asian students, the way his eyes look. One of the students wrote in a yearbook that the last day of school, he was going to whoop the black students. So I have had to do a lot of praying this school year. And I believe in the restorative process where you can kind of talk about it, try to see if you can fix. That's what we saw today, honey. Fix what is broke. It's broken, but it's bigger than me trying to deal with it at school. It has to take place at home.
Something's not right.
Something's not right. And and what I would say is I have had some parents to show empathy and be sorry and apologetic. And then I've had some that say, oh, my child didn't really say that. Or I don't know where they've gotten that from. Or they didn't know what monkey meant. Well, they didn't mean it.
Right.
So
kind of making excuses for them.
And each day I have to go home and pray.
Get that off of you.
To come back in, Yolanda Adams, she's one of my favorite gospel artists, and I listened to a song called Open My Heart. To open my heart and start it again the next day and not hold any grudges, whether it's a student that's being racist, whether it's an adult, because I've seen it on both sides, be racist, just to try to give some grace. Does it hurt? Yes. Yeah. Does it hurt the victim? Yes. Yeah, definitely. But I try to repair. And if the repairing doesn't work, I then go into consequences because you didn't learn the first time. Because that has to happen.
Right.
And I can still repair after the consequence, but I definitely have to get to that. So I am praying and hoping. And I realize we have to do something as a school more than just what we're doing. But I hope it gets better. And it's just about being kind to one another. Just saying kind, because those things are hurt. And those students will never forget that someone told them, go back where you came from.
Yeah.
Like, that's hurtful.
Right.
So, yeah.
So what do you do with those students to kind of really help, like, that repair side, right? Like,
I let them talk to me, but I realize I'm not a counselor, so I do allow them to meet with our school counselor. We also have a RPA, which is a restorative practice assistant, and a social worker. So we definitely have a lot of different counseling supports, but sometimes those students who have been offended just want to talk to me. One reason being is because they look like me. Mostly the supports that we have in counseling, they don't look like the student. So they feel like they don't understand.
Yeah, because they haven't had that experience.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a lot.
Huge challenge.
That's a huge challenge. So definitely it's very heavy when I'm leaving work, going home, and definitely have to listen to, once again, we're going back to music.
Right.
That's my calming place. Whether I'm in the shower, whatever that is. I was playing music this morning while I'm getting ready. I have to have it. And of course, reading my scriptures. I used to be the chaplain for my chapter, Alpha Delta Omega chapter.
Oh, cool.
And I do the meditations sometimes still. And that's a great joy for me, and being able to share. And I try to be transparent to let everyone know that God is still working on me. I'm a mess, but I'm trying every day.
Yeah.
And that's my prayer every day. I want to be more like God. And I ask him I want to be more like you. So whatever that looks like, I'm asking. And I feel like you have to have God in order to do the work that I do. Like there has to be prayer. Sometimes I tell my students, when they're crying, they're all emotional, I turn off my lights, I put on some music, and we sit in silence until they're ready to talk about it. Like I don't just push them and sometimes I may have an observation plan. Social emotional learning comes before academics to me, because that has to happen before you can even transition into learning.
All that chaos going on inside, you're not going to learn. We know that. Right.
And there's no sense of me sending them back to class for the teacher to call and say, hey, can so-and-so come back? Or they're still not ready. So I make sure they're ready to go back. Or they may need to go home.
So to that, Pastor Jule, what do you think is the root behind a boy or a young girl who would draw a Ku Klux Klan hat and a whole robe and uniform and draw it and pass it around the school, and the little child or the mother, the father says, I don't know where it came from. I don't know why she did it. Where do you think where would you think this child is getting this information from, and having the ability to clearly articulate and draw something of that poison nature?
And then the student, because that's actually in my phone, that's my picture, he didn't own it.
He said he didn't do it.
He said he did it. He wasn't finished. He said it's not Ku Klux Klan. It's some tour guides from New Orleans, but it wasn't Ku Klux Klan. So I was like, well, let me ask some of my colleagues, the social studies teachers who have taught him before. And they was like, well, Dr. Rosse, this is exactly what it is. Like, you called me down here, you already knew what it was. But
is it in there? It's not in their books, is it? Are they seeing
and
that?
It's not in the standards. No.
That's good to know, at least.
Yes.
From the theological lens, and this is, it kind of doesn't make any sense, because, I understand how we have gotten to a place of being so divided, but at the end of the day, like, we're all, like, I think we all have that little diamond of God in us, and then, like, the rest kind of fills in, like the body, the psyche kind of all fills in. And theologically, that's kind of what we say, and yet it doesn't get lived out that way. I have had opportunities to be in South Africa, and I actually was in college and divinity school, had professors who were South Africans, and I'm Dutch, and the Dutch are the ones that were so horrendous in South Africa and led to the Afrikaners and this whole theology of apartness is the only way we can be, and I think it's fear in a lot of ways, and it's like a lack of understanding of we're all connected, we're all the same at the core, we're all the same. Whatever, the makeup around. And then my doctoral work, if we want to get into this, was on the domination system, which is this system that is like behind all sorts of isms, if you will, patriarchy, heterosexism, all of it. And it's this sense of that, out of fear, somebody has to be better than the other. And there's ways that we seek to divide one another. This is like the work of what you would say the domination system. So it sounds really out there. But,
so I have a question, Pastor Jule. If you're saying we're all the same, why is there still white privilege?
That's a good question. Yeah, because it's still like all the way the culture is kind of set up, and What do you think? Why? Because there's not like changes going on around that?
I don't know, but I know white males are gonna just always have that privilege,
Mm-hmm.
and then everybody else kind of
Falls underneath.
Yes.
Which is all a part of this particular domination system that is patriarchy, right? That it's the white male at the top.
That's right.
I don't want to sound like hateful.
No,
like whatever, but it's like it's a
it-
system that oppresses everybody
yes,
else.
it's real
And
talk, and
it
it's so
is,
many
yeah.
people that are not comfortable
Embrace it.
and talk about this. But then I do have a couple colleagues that are white males, and they'll own it and say, "Oh yeah,
Right.
I've been treated differently." Just one of my favorite bosses that I used to work with, Dr. Scott Underwood. He's now the counselor at Hume Fogg. When I went places with him, I experienced different kind of privilege. I was like, okay.
Just
Like
walking right in.
even at the
Exactly.
hotel,
Yes.
we
Yeah.
went for an AVID conference, and I had asked the ladies at the desk several times, ladies and gentlemen, can I have an extra hour, because we were not leaving. And I was a Marriott member, so I didn't see what was the problem anyway. But they would always tell me no. But he said they told him yes. So I said, you know what, I'm walking downstairs with you, and I'm going to ask them. So I asked the gentleman,
Yeah.
can I have the same kind of privilege he has? And I got an extra hour.
Well, there you go. Take a white man with you, I guess.
Right, and
There you
he
go, right?
even was joking with me one time. I told him, I said, sometime Uber, they changed their mind. He was like, you might just want to put a white face there, and they'll come.
Oh, for if they'll pick you up or not.
Yeah, come quicker, yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's real. And you can only have conversations with people like this if you are close to them. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because
Well,
it'll make you get uncomfortable,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
And, you know, I don't want to get all and just connect with each other. And,
We're not there.
Lord, no. You know, the way we can day in, day out. And it does mean calling out the bad behavior. And like you're doing, like confronting. I'm taking the white man with me. Let's see if there's really privilege going on here, you know? And also, like, even the neighborhoods we live in, if you will, like where we frequent. Friends of mine would tell me, you know, when apartheid crumbled finally and Mandela is elected and everything's all going to be all better, right? No, it's not, because there's still ways that like there's economic divides,
Yes.
right? So in South Africa, you know, my friends actually left because they're like, we can't afford to live in the nice neighborhoods where it will be safe for our girls to be raised. And so, you know, it's like, it's not all going to magically change overnight there. It hasn't all magically changed overnight here. And so if we continue to live in neighborhoods where, you know, all white people live together over here, and all black people live together over here, and all like Dutch people live together over here, I never saw a black person growing up. I saw a few people who didn't have blonde hair and blue eyes, but it was all Dutch. Like everybody was Dutch. I had blonde hair that was considered not quite blonde enough. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah. But I mean, I look very Dutch in a lot of ways, very tall, like Scandinavian looking kind of person. So, you know, there's a different way that people organize, and racism shows up differently in the Midwest. It's a little more, it's even like smaller kind of, at least when I was growing up, it was not a question of black-white. It was a question of what your ethnicity is. Are you Germans? Are you Dutch? Are you
Really?
Polish? You know, the city of Chicago, that's
Okay.
how it is. And when I came here to the South and it was all this white-black stuff, I'm like, what? Is that all we are, is white-black? Like, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm still learning, like in a lot of ways. And also that's why I wonder what your experience was like growing up in the South, because it was like coming to a foreign land. When I moved from Wisconsin to Nashville to go to Vanderbilt Divinity School, you know, this prestigious kind of place supposedly, and it was still very racist and, you know, Confederate flag, I never saw anything like that.
Yeah.
And there are more there now because of the changes that have happened in our nation. But, I mean, Wisconsin wasn't a part of the Confederacy.
Right.
So
I'm sure we had racism in Mobile, Alabama, but it's just really more direct here, where people just really say what they think. Yes.
Here in Nashville.
Yes.
Interesting.
Your monkey.
What do you experience in Atlanta area?
Well,
Is it more?
there's so many cultures moving to Atlanta, so many different racial positions. We don't have time to talk about it. You're just trying to get out of the way. You're trying to survive. You're trying to move. You're on the go. But when you come to an establishment like a very nice 5-star restaurant, or in Buckhead, Buckhead is one of our premier areas.
I know what you mean with Buckhead.
Yep. And then that's when you start to see the little levels of separation. However, it's very difficult now for the non-African American, so that could cover a cadre of other people, to just walk in with the white privilege and think it's okay, because there is some black privilege in Atlanta, in the 5-star area and the upper advanced class areas. There are some African Americans who are multi-millionaire billionaires that are living there now.
Yeah.
So we don't see, stand up and fight, because we have people there now like, wait a minute, why are you acting like that? I'll just shut your company down. We have some very powerful people.
Can't make that happen.
Yes, they're there, and they're coming from the West Coast. Because Atlanta is almost now the recording mecca in the United States. Once it was L.A. and Detroit, but Atlanta, Georgia, in that area is so rich in diversity, whereby it's okay for black and white to be together. It doesn't bother them, Hispanics and whites. So it is not really, we don't hear about racial issues as much as we do outside of Atlanta, i.e. Nashville, Chattanooga. So it's really different, but it is there.
Yeah.
It may be called like hidden racism. It's probably hidden because these people can get along with or without you. They can survive.
Right.
And I was in a leadership cohort not too long ago with Harvard, and they asked a question, which I had never thought about it. How are you privileged? So everybody had to talk about some kind of privilege, because I think sometimes we just look at race, but then we still all have privileges. And I thought about that when they asked me the question. Well, my husband and I are able to go to Blue Green, the vacations, because my mom has a resort there with Blue Green. So we're able to go and take vacations and pay $250 and stay there for a week.
Yeah.
That's,
I get some of
so
that?
we got, hey, yeah, so that's some privilege too. So everybody, and honey, you have privilege.
Well, and our
because,
educational privilege.
yes.
Yes, indeed.
And then I think it's only 3 African-American head judges in Atlanta, and you're one of them.
Yeah.
So out of 3 of the whole state of Georgia?
Yeah, just now 4.
Okay, that's privilege.
That's pretty good, I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, when you kind of do break it down, like all of, the privileges you have, even, like another white woman aside me may have more privilege than me because of her. I'm from a small town, and like, what you would call blue collar kind of work, right? My dad worked with his hands, and so I didn't come from family money kind of thing, and so then that's a whole different level.
Yes, it is.
And if you didn't come from family money in the South, that's a whole different level, in terms of all that. And so there's different privileges and ways people just like walk right in, like you're saying, because of those kind of things, which they were born into, really. That's right.
And listening to both of you, when I talk about privilege, you said you didn't have your own bathroom.
Girl, you had your own bathroom.
Own bathrooms, and then when everybody came over, they had to use my bathroom. But I guess
mom uses your bathroom now.
She uses both. Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in a very small house. We're trying to make it into a way, now that my sisters and I own it together, we're trying to make it in a way that we each could have our own room there, which has never happened before. And there was, 6 of us.
Yeah.
So
love it.
7 of us, and I think I got my own room for the first time and my own bed when I was in 8th grade.
Okay.
So
cool.
It is funny how that's all kind of worked out in our lives, because 3 of us are single, 4 of of us are single, and like we want our own space. I always think about, because we never even had any of our own space growing up. So yeah, there's good and bad to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd die for my own bathroom. I have my own bathroom now, and I always try to get my own bathroom when I'm on vacation, but that doesn't even happen if I'm with my family.
Absolutely.
So.
All right, I don't get my own when we're on vacation either.
But even like the educational privilege that we could talk about, something like the domination system and like, all that we're sort of seeing and noticing, and we're able to articulate about that in ways because of, how we have been educated.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
I don't know, what is it going to take to get beyond black and white, especially if it's worse in Nashville than Atlanta, for instance?
I think continue to have these conversations and people putting in the work, not just saying, I'm sorry, or making an excuse, but like sit down. So that's something I'm really praying about, but I really want to have courageous conversations with some of my parents who are willing to talk, because I want to hear of ways that we can improve this culture, this climate, and this environment. I want to be able to, I want to hear from them.
Yeah,
because I can't do it.
We can't wait for whoever's going to be at the top.
Absolutely.
We
Can't wait for them.
Yes.
Yes.
And I harken back to South Africa once again, because we met a wonderful program there, working in one of the townships outside of Cape Town. That was, I don't remember the name of it right now, but it was called the Practice of Encounter. And so their whole work was to bring people together and just talk about what's going on in their lives and their days. And it was, across genders and also across racial composition. South Africa has a very layered, at the time, had a very layered racial understanding. It wasn't just black-white. It was English, Dutch, so there was like the white, and then it was what they called the colored, and that might be you had Indian in you, or, all the way down to like the tribal kind of, if you are, speaking Xhosa. Now they ask, what language do you speak? And they can kind of figure out, they don't use it. But like Mandela, because he had that Xhosa background, he had shorter pants in prison. He had less rations that he was allowed to have. It wasn't just black and white, because somebody who was colored and in prison, because they might have had Indian, from India, plus at some point in their time, or they were a part of like one of the original tribes of that area in South Africa, but yet somewhere along the line there had been some Dutch mixing, then they would be colored, so lighter skinned, and they had more privilege. And then, the English had all the money, the Dutch had all the power at that point in time. And apartheid really grew out of this sense of fear. It was a fear. The English had, in the Boers' War, had so humiliated the Dutch at the time, because of course they were colonizing all this stuff, but and they were so afraid that if they didn't have like this absolute tight control, then it would happen to them again. And so they just set up this system where they were going to be at the top and everybody else was going to be at the bottom. It was horrible. And of course the Dutch and the English still had all the money, so in some ways they still had all the privilege. But to be able to sit down across lines and, no matter which of those categories you were in, and tell your story. We sort of had a simulated experience where women who were living in the township talked about what it was like to be raped on their way home, from work that day or whatever, just because of like being a woman in that setting, and a black woman in that setting. And so, but then, a white male would have to sit there and hear it and then also tell his story, So I love, have y'all ever read, I told you about that book, right? No Future Without Forgiveness by Desmond Tutu, and The Truth and Reconciliation Trials. And I heard him speak at Fisk. I heard him speak at Fisk, and I heard him speak at Vanderbilt.
Wow.
The message was a little different. It was
I bet.
The same,
yes.
kind of kernel.
He probably geared it to his audience. Yeah.
Totally. I
Totally.
love Desmond Tutu.
Totally.
We lost a true elder when we lost him and Mandela, but you know, the mastermind to come along with the Truth and Reconciliation trial, and if you read those stories, you hear like there was Mandela had an understanding that there's been so much blood shed on this land since like the 4th century. There's been warring happening always,
Yes.
and that is not going to heal us. And so how do we begin to tell the truth of what has done? So, you know, accused and accuser would have to come together in a trial, and finally a mama might be told like what they did, you know, what the Afrikaner police did to her child who was ripped out of their home in the middle of the night and hadn't been able to find. And so, and then, you know, it took great courage to work towards like letting that go, but there's not going to be like no consequences or
Right,
consequences.
right, yes.
But to let go of that pain that they have been carrying, because forgiveness and reconciliation are 2 different things, really. And right, forgiveness is I'm going to release what's going on in me so that I'm no longer the victim of what they did. I got to release myself from that. But reconciliation is, okay, now how do we come back into a circle relationship together? And maybe
That's more of the restorative, I
Yeah.
think, approach of how we try to restore when someone has wronged another one, how to come to the table and fix what has been broken. Not to make people be friends again, but just talk about it. Sometimes friendships come out of it, and sometimes they agree that they're just going to speak and keep on going, but no more unkindness.
And I wonder what it would look like to do Desmond Tutu would say. I wonder what would happen if you all might try this approach in your nation. You know, like perhaps you might give it a try. But I wonder what would happen in your school if children, and it would be in a controlled environment, right? It wouldn't just be like, oh, let's all just sit down and chat with one another, but had somebody guiding a process like that, where people would be able to be honest about like, well, what was it like to be called that? And what was it like, why did you even, like, what happened to you that you would draw a clan? Like, what bitterness and hatred? Yeah. And really it has to be fear, and there's got to be a lot of not self-acceptance going on internally, right? Not to say it's okay that he did that, but he must hate himself to even project that kind of hate.
There's something
out into
underlying
the world.
there. There
Yeah,
is something.
because a lot of the students who, like the one that drew the picture of the Ku Klux Klan, his mom was like, but he has a few Hispanic friends, or he has this kind of race, their friends, so the parent is not understanding. The stepfather is Asian. The step-grandfather is African-American. So the family dynamics is very diverse.
Uh-huh.
So sometimes parents say they don't understand, and they come to me and I say, you know, if you don't understand, I don't.
Right.
I don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Remember that book, What Happened to You? Oprah was doing this, I think she still works with, I don't remember the name of the doctor who wrote the book. He's the psychologist and neuroscience and all that. And trying to really get at like what happened to you, that this is what's presenting in your life, and like what is going on in that boy that, and I mean, I don't think we can count out media
Right.
for sure, right? That is a horrible influence, I think.
Yes, and just what they're seeing in the world today, and how grown people are having conversations. The
But there's
role
like a
models,
lack of
the role models,
sophistication
if you
and
will.
articulation
Yes.
taking place.
Yes.
Definitely.
And then I have students that say,
Yeah.
well, I mean, this is my First Amendment. I can say this. I can say that.
Right.
Yeah, so that's where we are.
It is. And is it worse? Are you seeing it worse than it I mean, you've been in education
Yes,
forever.
it's
In
worse.
Nashville.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
getting worse
Something's
than it's
getting
ever
wrong.
been. Oh, yes.
And so I wonder, talking about the growth, I wonder how that's impacting, you know, because again, there's this sense of fear. This is all part of the domination system. Like the domination system is all about, instead of allowing for solidarity, because like if people came together, it doesn't matter if you're a black man and I'm a white woman, like if we come together and what unites us, the spark of God that is within us, we are powerful
Right.
beyond belief, right? The domination system doesn't want that. getting chills. Like, right, somebody is benefiting from the way things are. And so they don't want others kind of coming together because we will throw it off.
Well, it's stressing me out and having sleepless nights. So yeah.
Because you're like on that line every
and
day.
I wanna fix it, and I don't want my students to be hurt.
Right.
And I don't want parents to feel like I'm not keeping their students safe. Like, they want me to fix this, but I can't fix the hate that other students are bringing and saying. Like, I can only do so much.
Right. Yeah.
Can't catch it all, not everywhere.
Right.
Yes.
But my mentor and our friend Dr. David Gregory, who was my high school band director, told me a difference isn't a difference unless a difference makes a difference. And he's tell us, make a difference in every child. Mm-hmm. That's all we can do. That's all you can do, love. We make a difference in every child we see. Every parent make a difference. That's my mantra.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so what age are you working with, Vincent?
I teach middle school now.
You're teaching middle school too.
Oh yeah, that's
Which,
the war.
I mean, like,
that's the war zone. I
you
love
guys
it.
are going straight to heaven. Do not pass go.
Right.
Right there, because like middle school is challenging.
It is.
I think,
It is.
developmentally, and I do wonder how much of that is playing into like this boy. Like, how do you be a man today? How do you be a man today? Will you tell us? Like,
Oh my goodness gracious.
it's a mess.
Blinders like to put on the horses.
Mm-hmm.
The world doesn't want us to be men. I mean, men are trying to be men, and the ladies who are having to raise their sons, God bless them, they're trying to do all that they can.
Mm-hmm.
But it still takes a man to make a man. Nothing against my powerful ladies. Nothing against it. My wife is a powerful mother. Mm-hmm. And a wife. She does a wonderful job with our son Rico. However, making a man at this time and during this is very difficult. It's extremely, because they're listening, they're respectful. Yes, sir, I'll listen. Okay, I heard what you said. But you're gonna walk. As soon as you leave, they leave your presence. The world is waiting for them. Mm-hmm. Opportunities, weird experiences, freaky things. Trying this, let's try. Don't listen to, I can show you a better way. Your dad's too old school. Yeah. Don't listen to that old school doesn't work. Just let's do this in a hurry. Let's be fast about it. And you know, fast money leads to short life. We know that. We know the short experiences. But that's what they're surrounded by. Mm-hmm. This community, this country is fast paced. Everything's in a hurry, in a hurry, in a hurry. And so we who are solid or elders of how we came up, we're almost antiquated, or we're too slow, or we're not in style. We're not in style with what's right, but I still stand firm on fundamentals, discipline. I've been known for teaching my classes with discipline, classroom management, organization, and respect. Mm-hmm. I teach that the first week of school before I teach one note. Yeah. And so now all of a lot of my students and their parents in the community and some of the leaders, they say, Mr. Rosse, we appreciate the way you try to raise my young man or my young lady to be the young ladies and gentlemen in the community. We can tell they came from your classroom.
Right, that's cool.
So standards still work. Keep a high level of standards, and they'll come back to it. And that's in the word, you know. You train up a child in the way he should go, and when he returns, he will not depart from it. Mm-hmm. But you have to plant that seed. A good seed will bring good fruit, but a bad seed will bear bad fruit. So we have to be careful by what we say and how we teach the students as well.
Yeah. Well, just think about think about it all. Like, he's had some amazing accolades. Yes, he has. Do you want to name any of them? No, you'll name, right?
Yes, I mean, my husband's 2-time Teacher of the Year. I've been Teacher of the Year before.
That's 3. Remember the COVID.
Okay, and I call him the COVID Teacher of the Year because he was the
awesome.
Teacher of the Year that next year.
As a musician, because like here, my best friend is a music educator here, and it was like they got sidelined because they were just trying to figure out what to do with, the academic classes.
Oh my gosh.
The music arts were like,
yes.
get over there. And like just watching, like chomping at the bit to just be back connecting with the students.
Oh boy.
Like,
yes.
COVID of the year teachers.
Yes. And that's not the real name, but it was during COVID. So, and then you told your 2021. You told your principal, I said you were the COVID teacher. What did you say?
He was like, what is that? So that when you mentioned earlier about challenges, that was the biggest challenge for me as an educator. I mean, I had been teaching almost 30 years. And when COVID came, yes, the kids lost music education, and they lost academic education.
Yeah.
We still haven't bounced back from that. People just want to push it behind. I mean, for me,
act like it doesn't exist.
Right. Like
we don't want to talk about COVID.
Right. However,
wait till the kids get to middle. We're starting to get them. The ones that were like really either born or babies in COVID.
I know.
Kindergarten. Now they're in middle school.
And they're
Watch
coming.
out. COVID babies are a real thing.
Yes.
They're coming. And see, my parents having to pay, $1,500, $2,000 for instruments.
Wow.
I lost half of my band program because parents could not afford to pay the instruments. They had to pay rent.
Right.
They had to pay for daycare, extended daycare, because the kids were home.
Right.
So they say, band, okay, I love band. I appreciate you, Mr. Rosse, but I've got to pay the mortgage. I got to feed my children.
Right.
So I had half of my band lost because of that, and I'm now feeling the results of it, the effects of it now, and my program is finally starting to come back around, but I lost a lot.
Yeah. Years. Yeah.
Yes, a lot of years and skills. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're coming back around.
We're involved with some of our H.G. Hill Middle School. It's right down the road from here.
Yeah.
We're involved with a ministry of taking food. I don't know how it comes to us, but it comes to us and we get it over to a particular area where it's like 98% of the population in this apartment complex is Honduran. And I don't know how long some of them have been here. Most of the adults are not necessarily speaking English yet. Don't know why or how they're here, but they're here. They're part of our schools, and we're trying to help feed them.
Great.
And the other day, connecting with an organization that is now involved there called the Aloe Family that has grown up since COVID. They've only been in this apartment area for the last 2 years, actually. And they said this, because our problem is we're good people bringing them food, but we don't speak the language. And so we've learned comida and we've learned de nada, we've learned hola, but
thank you.
Comida is food, so snack is snack in Spanish and in English. But the Aloe family is really doing that like justice work. They are helping them to reach their goals. They're helping them to learn English if that's what they want to do. They have micro business programs are working there in the apartment complex. And they told us that the kids did not know what in the world. The bus just stopped running. Nobody was communicating with them. And they didn't even know that they weren't supposed to go to school. The bus just suddenly magically didn't show up. And parents who are doing some of the not so wonderful jobs in our city, either road crews or kitchen crews or service industry kind of folk. And okay, what happened during COVID? None of that, right? So everybody's home, nobody's got food, right? Because our kids get food twice a day at Metro Nashville.
Yes.
As well?
Breakfast and lunch, yes.
So all of a sudden they don't have that, which they also don't have in the summer. But to imagine, like, here you are in this world and, like, you're expecting the bus is going to come pick you up.
Yes.
There's already that barrier. Your mama doesn't speak the language of the bus driver, right? And then all of a sudden the bus doesn't come. Like, can you fathom that? In the United States, it's hard to, like, fathom.
I can't.
That's the case. And so we're looking forward to what will happen with this partnership of, the Aloe family reminded us it is key. They have to have food. Kids have to have food.
Yes.
I always used, when I worked with kids, it was like, okay, how much sleep did you get last night? What did you have to eat before you came to Sunday school this morning?
Yes.
Like, did mom and daddy fight? What's going on? Did you lose your cat yesterday? Whatever, right? There's usually something.
That's the building of the relationship piece. And it shows them that you care. I don't care if my student come to school, if they come an hour late, I'm going to find something in my office, some of my little gluten-free snacks. I'm going down to the cafeteria in their cabinet. Like, I'm going to feed them. Can't learn with low sleep, and you can't learn without eating. So, yes.
What do you know about structure in kids? Because that's part of what happened in COVID, right? There's no structure. Now we're hearing all about this kids that can't self-regulate. Talk about that if you would.
For us, because we are SEL school, we definitely have fidgets. A
Okay.
lot of our students use them. Sometimes they need to stand up. Our teachers, I feel like they're doing more brain breaks because
brain
students
breaks.
are struggling, or giving them a time just to stretch. And of course, for Metro Nashville Public Schools, we have recess. That's 20 minutes a day. That is mandatory. So they're definitely getting that. But just the fidget. Sometimes students, when I was growing up, they didn't give us a fidget. But there are different fidgets, and students get a chance to pick their own fidget. So whatever a particular child needs, based upon the feedback we get from the student or their parents, we give it to them.
Okay.
Yeah, meet every child where they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not gonna have something too noisy where it's like one of those fidgets that just
Playing
make
the
noise.
trombone.
Yeah.
Yes, no.
Yes.
But something that is not going to be as distractive as others.
Yeah, cool. So fidgets might be a helpful thing to get at home.
Yes,
Kids,
yes. And we
right?
talk about that when we're having different support team meetings with parents. This may work with this child, and we invite our psychologists to the meetings. Yes, everybody needs something different. Sometimes a kid needs to just walk to the office and send them on an errand to run just to get their energy out. So you just got to know the student, and you don't know them until you have a conversation with them and build a relationship, and then talk to their parent as well.
Right. And how many students do you have at Meigs?
Well, it was 700, but we're getting more students. I'm going to actually be over about 370 students this year,
Oh, wow.
just by myself.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of kids to get to know.
I signed up for the challenge, so I'm ready.
Cool.
I'm ready.
Take her to the beach one more time.
Yes,
Get her ready.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And how about you? Like, your band, when you say band, how many students do you have at a time?
Well,
Class?
in the past, pre-COVID, I had 300 students.
In the room at the same time?
Oh, well, total, grade
Oh,
6
okay,
through, I
okay.
teach middle school. Our middle schools break down to 6 through 8.
Okay.
Grade 6, 7, and 8. However, my total number of students was over 300.
Right. So he can tell you.
Yeah, I got you.
But I'm going to have them all at one
'Cause you have
time.
like assemblies and things. Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I'm over the 6th grade, so I'm dealing with
Lots
them,
of
and then the
flowers, lots of
teachers.
flowers.
Yes,
Flowers.
yes.
It's our flower ministry.
Yes, need all of
Season
it.
started picking up a Friday.
Yes, I'm gonna need some cupcakes or something too. I don't know if we can.
Yeah. No
to-
sugar. You don't
Huh?
want to give them sugar.
No, the teachers
Oh, the
for all the
teachers.
kids, because they're gonna have more students in the class.
Oh,
So I need to find
yeah.
another ministry to help out with it.
Coffee.
Yes.
All these terrible
Take it.
things.
Yeah.
No.
There we go.
Yeah.
Maybe some tea. So in a given day, like in a class at a time, you have like, are there 90 or they're like,
Well, so pre-COVID, 300. Post-COVID, I had 125 kids in the band.
well, that's a big drop.
Tremendous.
Yeah, wow.
So the average class was 25 to 30 kids per class.
Okay.
Pre-COVID, 70 to 80 per class.
Yeah.
You're exactly right.
Blows my mind.
Yes.
Like, how can, you're by yourself in there, right?
I do not have an assistant.
How can one person, like, but that's the beauty, I think, of music,
But
right?
you're
'Cause
trained
you're
to-
the director,
Mhm, mhm.
yes, you're the conductor,
Uh-huh.
you're trained in
Mhm.
that, and those are those standards that you're
Mhm.
setting. If you're gonna
Mhm.
have 70 kids, it's gonna be like, okay.
It has to be structured, or the kids will structure you.
And I
They
would
will.
say, from
They
my
will.
experience, every teacher can't handle a large number
they
of
cannot.
students.
Right,
They will struggle because
Right.
everyone don't have good classroom management.
right.
I don't care what workshop teachers are sent to. You either have it or you don't.
don't.
Yeah.
You either can
You got that
make
look,
connections to be,
or
or you don't.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, sometimes it's not the number.
Uh-huh.
It
Yeah.
just depends on the person.
Yeah,
And some struggle with 20 kids.
it's like a backbone type thing.
Yes.
right? And like a commanding presence.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. And you know what, Pastor? Like this is year. Sometimes she said, "How many years have you been teaching?" Sometimes I don't remember because it's such a joy to me.
Uh-huh.
This is a ministry to me. This is a joy. I mean, I'm having so much fun in what I'm doing. It's like I get paid for this. Oh, there's a paycheck in the box. And that's my joy. So when I'm working with these students with these challenges and 70 kids per room, and then now maybe 25 or 30, it's the same passion. It's the same desire and the same energy. So to my educators out there, if you don't have the passion when it's not going well, find it. Don't quit. You thought I was going to say quit. Don't give up. Yeah. We need you. We need, these babies need you badly. And the parents need you.
Yeah.
The parents more so than the kids. I mean, that's what I'm serious about. I'm a family teacher. I teach the band. The child doesn't join the band. The family joins my band. We're family educated. And that's what I involve all parents in my activities, rehearsals, I have band moms, band dads helping out with equipment, making snacks for the kids. It's a family affair.
Well, and you tour with them, right? So
all the time.
So you have to have that support. You can't take them to the Rose Bowl parade by yourself, right?
Been to the Rose Bowl, but we took, at that time, maybe 70 parents.
Wow, 70 parents.
70 parents.
70 parents. Yeah, that's a lot of students.
At 300 in that marching program during that time. But that's what I'm saying. But that didn't just happen. I didn't just say, Pastor Jule, I need you to go to Pasadena with us next week. We will have established a long relationship. I think she mentioned about a relationship. Important. So educators, my colleagues, establish, or if you want your child to do well in your classroom, find out what's going on at home. Where's this child's mind? What is mom and daddy think? What is daddy thinking about?
Right.
He's thinking about returning that trombone because he's got to pay for those kids' medical shots, and the child may have a surgery coming up. But they, as a man, you talked about how do we make these men. We're not going to tell you that. We're just going to take action. The trombone, you won't see the trombone Monday. Well, Dad, what am I supposed to tell band director Jule? Well, you tell her I had to take it back for repair at the shop. The term take it back for repair is code for I can't pay for it anymore. I've stopped paying for it and they're about to repossess it. Those are my challenges in my Title I school. But that little child is sitting in that corner, sad-faced, about to cry. We all have instruments and he doesn't. Oh, I'm going to go get an instrument for that child.
Yeah,
he will. And then I may say, Daddy, don't do that. Daddy, come, let's talk, Dad. Come have coffee with me, let's talk. Well, Mr. Rosse, I said, it's okay, Dad. Man to man, let's just talk. What's going on, brother? Well, I had a hard time. I had to do this and I had to pay the bills and something was repossessed. I got to take the child's instrument back. I said, don't do that. Don't do that, Dad. And then I talk to the music companies. They give them an extension. It's a communication.
Right.
Or I'm going to go in my private collection and let them borrow an instrument for that child for the rest of the year.
I have something in my office.
Yes,
I'm sure they could borrow.
I got you.
You have some instruments in your office?
That's a percussive
instrument. You shouldn't have told me. I heard you earlier today.
You read it next time?
You see? I have a whole box
I saw
here. Yeah. Because I used to work with kids, and so now we actually use them in worship, and adults love them too. Sometimes in this congregation, some of us are more shy about how we sound or just don't know how to sing very well. And so, but my trick is I give a percussive instrument and sometimes they just want a quiet one, but they're still participating in the music.
That's important.
Because I think, I probably have said this in a different conversation because I've talked with some educators and musicians, and I think congregational singing was for that purpose of bringing people together, to be in harmony together, be in peace together. And it kind of raises your vibration, right? So when we sing together, y'all were singing and I was I could feel it, whoo, here we go. Just kind of supporting.
Let's go.
That way, So it's actually a purpose, I think, that we all participate in making music together.
Yeah.
We need music educators, I do believe, because this is how we can begin to appreciate diversity, right? Everybody in the band does not play the same instrument. It'll sound terrible.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Everybody doesn't play at the same time.
No,
but you have to learn how to play balanced, right?
Mm-hmm.
It teaches all of these ways of really being a civilization together, right? And now and again, giving way to the soloist who is going to play. I played in a band.
What did you play?
Percussion.
Okay. I played the clarinet.
Oh, no.
Okay.
He's a percussionist.
No.
Yeah.
What instrument?
Well, it was percussion, so just whatever.
What did you
was
focus
back
on the
there.
most, or was it the
I did
snare?
have to play the bass drum a lot, the snare a lot,
Oh, good.
cymbals.
Okay.
I often didn't play the ones that you had to tune. Like, I loved to play the timpani, but I wasn't
You
as
wanna
good at
tune
the
it.
tuning.
So y'all can do a duet next
The
time.
bells, kind of.
So y'all can do a
I
duet?
had lots of drums at home. Seriously, I could bring you a drum.
Don't tell me. You better
Right,
tell
'cause
it.
he loves
I have a
drums.
collection. Don't
Yeah.
I
do
have a
it.
lot of them. It's kind of out of control.
In
me
stools,
too.
our son plays the drums, and he keeps breaking his stools, so he's always needing stools.
There you go. Yeah. And they would never, again, this gets back to that whole like privilege and all, they would never let the girls in my hometown play the set, the drum kit or the drum set. That was like only the boys could play that. So there was still that layered
My goodness.
gendered, right? Like,
Oh, my.
It's like that with my mom. She said she couldn't march in the band, I think, at Alabama State. Like, she couldn't
like
do
girls
it.
couldn't
Yeah.
do that.
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
That's changed now.
yeah.
I've got some monster female percussionists. Monsters.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I love when I recruit females for percussion. They don't quit.
Oh, there you go.
They are female percussionists and girl tuba players.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My sister played the baritone.
Mhm. See, yeah.
So, yeah, we do these.
They don't quit. They want
My
to
dad
commit
wonders
to
why
it.
he has all these like independent women. It's like,
Commit
well,
to it.
okay, we maybe should. This is like we could speak for the rest of the afternoon, but I know a beach trip is coming.
Yes.
So,
and we need to get on the road.
Some standard closing questions. All right. And the first one is if you have a quote or a mantra you live by.
I
There's stumped.
must become the change I wish to see.
I have
I
that
was-
book.
Yes, I always feel like I can't share something or preach something, discuss something I'm not doing. I have to be walking the talk.
Uh-huh.
So yes,
Yeah, cool.
see the change in me. I can't
Uh-huh.
tell somebody something I'm not doing right.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool.
They got to see it in me.
Wow, that's a high mantra to live by.
Yes, they got to see it in me.
You know what that means?
Right.
You're going to keep getting opportunities to practice that.
Right.
There you go. I don't know. A couple of them, you know.
Yeah.
Say what you mean and mean what you say. There was a book written by Judge Hatchett. She's out from LaGrange, Georgia. That's one of the places I used to teach. That was her title of her book, and I really love that. Say what you mean what you say. Give a person a reason to trust your integrity.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is put God first.
Uh-huh.
It's simple.
I think that's a commandment.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think Moses found that somewhere.
Yeah. Put him first. Yes.
Yeah.
Things will line up.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Okay, so books or resources or teachers you want to like encourage people to take a look at? Anything?
I have so many
You got a stack, right?
books, a whole stack.
Mhm.
Well, what's like your favorite book or resource? It doesn't even have to be like educational. It could just be fun beach read.
A fun read for me when I was working on my master's was a book, I think it's by Spencer, Who Moved My Cheese?
Yes, I've read that book.
See.
Those of us who are, change is difficult, right?
Going through changes. It's a
Yeah.
great read. It's a fun, maybe 2 days. You can read 2 days, maybe one.
Yeah.
But it really changed my perspective when I had to go through changes. I was changing jobs,
Uh-huh.
changing states,
Uh-huh.
changing positions, and that book by Spencer teaches you to take it all in.
Mm-hmm.
Take it in, go with the punches, and learn to adjust and have do it in a positive attitude, knowing that there's a reason behind the request and the demand for you to make those changes. And when I read that, it calmed me down, because sometimes we as educators get so stuck in our ways, stuck in our little box, our little cubicle. But that book, Who Moved My Cheese, changed me like never before. And that was about 14 years ago. So that's a
Yeah.
good book.
It's
Who moved my cheese?
And I'm thinking about the book that I brought for you, and then I took it and gave it to our son because he needed, fill in my bucket.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the exact title, but that's just something that I try to share with all the students and the faculty. And I've actually brought people buckets before and try to make sure you're filling your bucket instead of always just trying to fill someone else's. And of course, my dissertation topic was the factors that affect teacher morale.
Ooh.
And I'm always trying to read things to help with the teacher morale and see how teachers are doing.
Yeah.
And if it's not okay, I want them to have a conversation with me. And I do have an open door policy. They trust me. So I definitely, because I'm very passionate about that, trying to find ways to help with the teacher morale. If I can do something about it. As far as pay, I can't do anything about that.
Right,
and that is a factor as well.
Yeah, of course. We all want to be, again, that's part of how we, measure things in our culture is by money. And so we want to feel valued, right? And so we think that our value comes from the money, the exchange of the money. I understand that. Yeah, I understand that. I'm a pastor.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But,
This was a lot of fun.
Yes.
This was great fun.
Yes, this is our first podcast.
What a
Yes.
party.
First time singing together.
We need to have a whole series, because I feel like we didn't really get at the root of some things, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Any parting words of encouragement you want to give folks?
Good.
Good.
Just keep living.
Yeah.
Keep loving each other.
And if you're passionate about something, do the work. Don't stop, even if it's uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's not always easy. Like getting a doctorate is not easy, right? It takes discipline. It takes work. Getting
Took
a
me a long
master's
time.
is not easy. Taking your band to the Macy's Day Parade is not easy, right? Like all these wonderful things you've done in your career, but it takes all the little steps
Yeah.
to make it happen.
Absolutely. It does.
So, and keep on loving. Yay.
Yay.
Keep on loving. Fill up your buckets.
Yes.
Find the ways that you pause for peace, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you all so very much for
Thank
being
you for
here.
having us.
Thank
And
you
thank
so
you,
much.
Bryce, for setting up
Bryce
everything.
is then here in the background. He's like, what? Anyway,
And enjoy your birthday tomorrow, Bryce.
happy birthday to Bryce tomorrow.
Bryce.
We'll see you again next month, y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.